Well, here we are. Well, we never thought that we were going to have a super over there, but eventually Peshawar Zalmi prevails and they get their 2 points. They still play the eliminator, but something to be grilled just before the playoffs, and they've come out of it well. Lahore Qalandars gave a good fight, and we are done and dusted with the round games after this match between Lahore and Peshawar here at the Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. Let's have a look at the match summary. So, Peshawar Zalmi, 158 for 7. And it looked like that Lahore might not be able to get there, but who knew? Shaheen Shah Afridi getting 24 in the last over and leveling it up, and then we went into the super over. So Peshawar Zalmi won this match in the super over.
But to be honest, what we really want is a super over.
Well, we've certainly got a Nostradamus in the studio here, pitchside studio, right here next to me. Bazid Khan called it. He said it in that pitch report that this is the only thing missing from the HBL PSL 7. Baz, is it Nostradamus or are you Bazid Khan? I'm confused.
When will we be paid?
For what?
For our work.
Well,
Who's going to be in the final?
I've not seen you work at all. Yeah, but there was Richard Illingworth and everybody, important people on that stage. So I manipulated in such a way that you had to be a super over. The only thing was, the real reason was, they got me here early, very early, to do the pitch report. I don't think I'm getting another pitch report now.
Yeah, I think we need to get you in every single time, Baz. But I mean, it was a great match, of course, extremely thrilling. This is what we wanted for the HBL PSL as well, David. But a very Qalandar-esque performance. They sort of got off to a start. They were losing the match. Then they came close in the end. Shaheen Shah made a match out of it, only to lose the match in the end.
Well, yeah, I would say they'd lost the match. In fact, there we were casually talking about, the game is now gone. We were talking about complete lack of spice in the game. Suddenly it dawned on me, it was an attack of hubris. Be careful what you wish for with Baz. In my case, it was an attack of hubris, thinking this game is finished. But of course, if someone does connect in the same way as Shaheen Shah Afridi did and does, it changes things around. So lo and behold, there we are at the end of the game, scores tied. And the excitement of a Bazid Khan Memorial Super Over.
Memorial.
I like the way Bazid Khan Memorial Super Over.
Yeah, it's the last time. It's the last time we're letting him anywhere near that pitch, I can tell you.
Well, is it the last time you're looking at the points table? Because from here on, points don't matter. Now it's about how you play on that day. So let's have a look after 30 matches. What does it look like? Let's bring in David. He's master of this.
I've talked through this about 10 times in the last half hour. Yes, this is now firmly established. We knew at the start of the day that it was almost certain that it would look like this at the end of the day, with Multan Sultans, of course, long established at the top of the tree. The question was, could things change between Qalandars and Zalmi? It was never likely. They are at least on 12 points each. They have that satisfaction, but Qalandars and Sultans therefore go into the qualifier. Zalmi and Islamabad will play those first of the eliminators.
Well, it's pretty straightforward now. When you look at that playoff tree, I think all the permutations are gone now, and we have certain, spots that were up for grabs, but now they've been sealed. This is how it's looking like. It's Multan Sultans and Lahore Qalandars up there, which have qualified. They were 1 and 2, and then remember, whoever wins that game obviously will be going straight into the finals. The loser gets another opportunity. They'll play the winner of that match between Peshawar Zalmi and Islamabad United.
All right, let's talk about the level M moment. And who would have thought that Shaheen Shah Afridi will become Shahid Afridi in that last over? He required like 25, he scored 24, and that has to be our level M moment because that leveled the game.
Yeah, previous over, it didn't look like Shaheen Shah Afridi is getting near the ball, but this was probably the pace that he wanted. And then one-handed 6, over square leg, smashed over extra cover. That's probably his best shot he's ever played. That was brilliant. Then a couple of Yorkers just to make sure that the super over did actually happen. He did not give away the strike, though. He knew that I'm the striker and I'm the one who can get him to that super over, and then with a lot of encouragement from the combox, he's nailed it over mid-wicket, and that's a massive thing. It was just a tremendous moment.
Well, it was a tremendous shot, absolutely spot on with that. I just feel for Mohammad Umar a little bit, because he'd nailed the 2 Yorkers just before that, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And in his mind, surely, well, let's just try and do that one more time. But you never know what it's like. You know, the tension's in the arm. Suddenly it doesn't quite get there. Suddenly it's just a length ball. And it was exactly what Shaheen Shah wanted.
I don't remember. I don't think anybody or any one of us has seen Shaheen bat like that. I mean, just probably his lucky moment. Everything is within his radar, but amazing hitting.
He can strike a ball, that we all know, but to do it for a couple of overs and do it so consistently in 1 over, we've not seen that. I think that shot over extra cover, that's probably the best shot he's ever played.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Well, you're talking about who should bat in the super over. It's always a debate. Should it be the openers? Should it be the man in form? Should it have been Shaheen Shah Afridi? Because he did hit those 24 runs in the last over.
Well, there is a cogent argument that says the man who's just been striking it, 10 minutes beforehand, might as well go out again and see if it was a fluke or not. And yeah, we'll never know. But of course, the cold hard logic is you pick 2 men, as they did. Fakhar Zaman is an extraordinary stroke maker. Harry Brook made 100 the other day and is in great form. And you pick 2 men who are your best batsmen. And when they don't make contact with the ball, I'm afraid you end up with a low 1 over score, and that's that.
Okay, let's talk about our player of the match. And that is, of course, the captain. Wahab Riaz first, 2 for 19 in his 4 overs, and that super over then. Just have a look.
Yeah, I don't mind whoever, but I don't think anybody who batted in this super over would have got a lot of runs, because exceptional bowling. The 2 Yorkers that he nailed, a little bit of tail back in, the left-hander having no chance then to just drill it for once, and then he goes to the slow one into the pitch time and time again for the right-hander, and his angle is always drifting away from the right-hander, and that's why he's so dangerous as a death bowler when he gets it right and when there's a little bit of tail, and that was an exceptional super over.
I mean, to be doing that under pressure, obviously with packed full house and bowling that kind of length, it really speaks volumes of what kind of a bowler he is, especially bowling at the death, Wahab Riaz.
And actually, especially if you look back to the last month or so, his performances have been, I think they were poor to start with, as not being unfair, and then he got some form back again. And I just suspect with someone like Wahab, you have that moment where you say, right, it's my... He took responsibility. He obviously volunteered himself to bowl that over. And in a sense, you say to yourself, well, actually, what could possibly go wrong? What could I possibly lose? What's the worst that can happen? And he produced a series of very, very difficult balls to hit, which is just absolutely perfect. And then you go to Shaheen Shah Afridi, who is renowned for Yorkers and lines and all the rest of it. And Shoaib Malik just makes it look easy. A couple of deft touches, end of story.
That's not a bad question which he put up, saying Shaheen Shah Afridi playing the super. How do you actually decide? You play or send a batsman for super over on reputation? Because this is a low-scoring game. You don't have an 80 blistering runs from anyone over here. So who do you send?
Well, I mean, if you go back, I'm going to say
Zaman and who else?
Harry Brook, yeah.
Harry Brook.
That's obviously
on reputation, basically. You talk about this particular game, someone swinging it well?
Not reputation. Well, logically, they've been scoring. Harry Brooks was 100 last game. So who's the most likely to get hold of Wahab Riaz? I don't think you'll have Shaheen Shah Afridi on that list, even if he got 24 off or 23 in the last over.
I mean, I'm just thinking back, to a World Cup final a couple of years ago in the longer form of the game, New Zealand, England at Lords. And Jimmy Neesham went out for New Zealand as a man who comes in down the order but hits a long ball. So if you have someone, but he's an acknowledged clinical hitter. He's a specialist in doing that down the order, whereas what we saw from Shaheen Shah, we loved it, yes, and it was brilliant, yes, but it was kind of unexpected. So there's that risk you take if you promote yourself in those circumstances. I mean, he could have gone out there, and if Wahab Riaz had bowled those same Yorkers, they would have gone just as far, i.e. nowhere.
But this was a much cleaner game with the super over, getting to the super over.
That's a much longer discussion,
That's definitely up for another discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, brilliant performance in the end by Peshawar Zalmi. Plenty to discuss, of course, but only after the short break.
Welcome back to the pitchside studio here at the Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. We're discussing the last of the round games between Peshawar, and Peshawar won this one by a super over. Talk about master blasters. You usually expect a batter to win this one, but today had to be Shaheen Shah Afridi for his 39 not out of just 20 balls.
Well, I tell you what, the most extraordinary thing was that his first few attempts ended with basically fresh air. Finally, when it counted, he played some of the most magnificent shots of his entire career. Starting with the edge over the top of the keeper, the hoik, the one-handed hoik over deep square leg. At this stage, it was more good fortune than good judgment. But then this shot came right out of the top-class drawer, sailing over extra cover, followed by this over deep mid-wicket, clearing the boundary by some metres, and the most emphatic celebration.
Well, Baz, I mean, this is his highest score as well. I mean, do you think he could perhaps fit into that role of a slogger like a Hassan Ali that we've seen at the back? And is this a new talent, hidden talent that we've seen of Shaheen? Because we know he can hit, but we haven't seen him do it enough.
Yeah, he says he's working on his batting. He says exactly that, what you're asking. He says, we've got a lot of cricket and we've got Pakistan team. I'm looking at somebody back of the order being able to hit not 23, but just 10, 12 or 15 quick runs. And he does have the potential because he's so tall, he's got that long lever. So if there's anything sort of a length delivery, he can hit it out of the ground. And that extra cover shot, I think now people will look at him and say maybe he can do it more often. And that's what you want. You just want improvement, but more consistency.
I mean, did you really think that, you know, we'll have 24 runs scored in the last over with Shaheen Shah Afridi batting? I mean, I'd gone to get my hair made. I thought the game is done and dusted, David.
Well, if you go back to if you play back my commentary at the start of that final over, we were not considering it really until 2 balls in. Suddenly, hang on, four. Hang on a second, maths. It was 24 off 6 required. There was that wide to start with. And it kind of woke us up, thinking, well, actually, we've written the game off, as I think probably most people in the stadium.
Have had problems in that middle order. They've not got runs quickly and they've not got players in that middle order who perform. The likes of Liam Livingstone and Rutherford have left, but even though the players like Haider Ali really haven't kicked on, it's really because of his batting that they've been kept in the loop, and that was a huge wicket right at the start. And somehow you think that the spinners aren't bowled enough in this HBL PSL. He bowled a brilliant first over, and that was it. And today, like Hafiz got a few more overs, you'd expect him to get a few more today as well.
David, I mean, you look at Shoaib Malik and you think he can be a case study. He's probably turned 40 or is nearing 40. He's super fit. Yeah, he's turned 40. He's super fit. He can field well. He can take wickets up front. And he's still batting well as well. So valuable for Peshawar Zalmi to have all that experience and a seasoned campaigner like him.
When you get to a certain age, you value experience rather more than you do when you're, say, 19, 20 years old. But you've got the balance here, haven't you? I mean, Mohammad Haris at the start, who is young, enthusiastic, brilliant. Shoaib Malik is the man who knows what to do when the pressure is on. And actually, the lesson I think that everyone will be learning from these last few games especially is that whereas everyone expects 190, 200 regularly, these scores of 158 today are competitive because the pitches have lost a bit of something. Spinners played its part, pace off plays its part, and therefore being able to guide an innings through crisis times and get the most out of it suddenly becomes much more important. And okay, yes, you have the excitement of the sixes at the end, but that was at a time when the game was pretty much lost. So there's a lot to be said for the experience of someone like Shoaib Malik.
We talk about Shoaib Malik. I mean, 471st T20 match. I mean, I'm pretty sure the rest of the Peshawar Zalmi combined won't reach that number. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, there's a bit of experience there. Wahab has played a lot. Shoaib Malik as well. Kamran Akmal. That wicket, if you remember, Fakhar Zaman being caught by Kamran Akmal, it was a 40-year-old bowling and the 40-year-old caught it. So it took 80 years for that one wicket.
Well, we definitely saw we've seen some great catches in the tournament as well. And today we saw that good one by Mohammad Haris. It was actually a dropped catch by Hazratullah Zazai. Let's have a look at it. It's in our safe hands package.
Okay, here he goes up in the air. Now, Zazai should have caught this. That's the first thing you have to say. He's juggled it a couple of times, but it's the presence of mind of Mohammad Haris, who is hovering. He's like a goal scorer 3 yards from the net. He's hovering so close, and his reactions are so quick that he scoops it up, what is it, 2, 3, 4 inches off the ground. There's the juggle. Very few people ever would have had the presence of mind and reaction to make that a catch.
So from not so safe hands into safe hands.
Well, from completely unsafe hands, you know. Dear Liza, there's a hole in my bucket.
But that's probably the best catch in HBL PSL ever.
That's it.
That's it. That's done. Not this season. I think the 7 seasons that we watched it, this is probably the best, hands down.
Well, let's have a look at the rest of the good catches, then we decide. Turn your head, have a look. There's some really seriously good catches. Remember this in Karachi?
Yeah, that's exceptional. Yes, brilliant. Absolutely high pressure catch. This again, diving away to the left. That is brilliant as well. These are high quality catches. Don't get me wrong. These are exceptional catches. Babar Azam again one-handed running back. And we talked about this earlier. It takes loads of practice to actually perfect one catch. These are guys taking really difficult catches. But even if you look at all these catches, this I thought was terrific. Probably it was contender for catch of HBL PSL 7 before this game, before that Harris catch. And the running back, and then being able to just scoop it up inches from the ground. I've never seen anything like it. To be honest, I've never ever seen a catch like that.
Well, I suppose, Baz, your point, Baz, is that one you cannot practice.
No,
all the other ones you kind of can practice. Those ones on the boundary where you go outside, come back in again. That's practiced routinely. I mean, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
It's pure instinct, but also there's a bit of luck in it. It's come into his way. Who would have expected it to actually fall there? But then to be able to be scooping it up and sort of looking at Zazai, fumbling it, and then being able to judge where it's just phenomenal.
Well, just the way you've been lucky with your predictions. That's the kind of luck that you need
Correct.
these days.
But you make your own luck, don't you?
Not in my case.
But yeah, great reflexes by Mohammad Haris. It was a great catch, great presence of mind as well to be taking that. But we take a short break. Be back just in a bit.
Welcome back to the pitchside studio. It's a full house here. We're talking about follow wickets. So I'm going to come to you and tell you Lahore lost 8 of them and got 158, exactly what Peshawar scored. And the man to my right, Rain Man, will take us through.
Well, it was first ball of the innings, the first ball that did for Fakhr Zaman. Inside edge, up in the air. 80 years of experience, as Baz was saying just a moment ago, between the bowler and the keeper. Phil Salt beaten by one that just drifted slightly back in off the pitch. That was 2 down, 3 down when this one goes up in the air. And the juggle from Zazai picked up by Mohammad Haris. So brilliant result there. Now, 4th wicket goes down with this LBW shout. Another very good straight delivery. Finger went up, reviewed again. Everything's reviewed nowadays, but that initial decision was absolutely spot on. For David Visa, he hadn't had a chance to unleash. That just snuck through. He was trying to work it on the onside. Would have been knocking out leg stump as well. Comfortable catch on the edge here. And then as the overs drew to a close, second next ball, in fact the direct next ball, seeing the same result as well. So 8 down for 158. Pretty good bowling performance all in all.
Yeah, I mean, Baz, you look at the fall of wickets and we saw that Harry Brooks sort of bailed out Lahore Qalandars in that previous game. Are we sticking to that narrative that Lahore is heavily reliant on Fakhr Zaman because he got out in that first ball, in that first over, and then nobody really contributed from their side?
Yeah, it's kind of a lazy narrative because Fakhr Zaman has had so many good games that he's been noticed every single game. But Harry Brooks stood up. I thought Hafiz played really well. I think he's coming back to his best. They have batting depth. Visa is also there, so they have the players to do it. It's just that Fakhr has taken everything. He's scored more than 500 runs, and in a PSL, in an HBL PSL or T20 tournament, if you're getting 50-60 runs every game, the rest of them really aren't coming to the fore. You can say yes, you get Fakhr out, you get the team out, but I don't think that's the case.
You know, I got only one question. How do you remember all these wickets? I mean, I wonder.
Okay, right. Listen to me. It's as simple as this. Up here,
Yeah.
round about here, are some eyes. Down here is a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Through the game, I scrupulously write down every wicket, have all the figures there. It's an artistic thing that I love to do.
Well,
So in emergency, if I can read it, hang on a second, if I can read it.
But we weren't showing the book.
No, but I like to be honest to you,
Okay,
and you,
all right.
and to everyone watching this. You know, there are ways of making this work.
Well, his brain is definitely working as fast as the fastest delivery of the match. We had plenty of fast bowlers in this game today. Wahab Riaz, Shaheen Shah Afridi, but it was Haris Rauf whose delivery was the fastest of the match.
Yeah, you always expect pace from him, and it's that ball that angles in and it's quick, it's sharp, and you need to be right on the money as the batsman to be able to hit it. They actually gone through the extra cover region when he's drived it really well, and that's why he's sort of blowing. But there are a couple of bowlers there. I saw something quite interesting. Zaman is now wearing 155. He bowled a delivery of 150, so now his shirt is 155, so he's aiming for 155 now. Whereas Haris, I think he's still aiming for 150, which
He
is...
got 152, so he's got to change that.
So he's got to go to 160 now.
Yeah.
Is that the way the shirt numbers work? That's what they've been playing at the Lahore Qalandars.
I don't know why then Malik has 18. No idea.
Benjamin Button.
David, thank you so much. We will not punish you anymore. So we'll see more of you in the playoffs. You get some rest for tomorrow. And we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have Uruj Mumtaz joining us.
वेलकम बैक टू द पिच साइड स्टूडियो। और पेशावर ज़ल्मी की ज़बरदस्त परफॉर्मेंस आज हमें देखने को मिली और अरूज मुमताज़ ने हमें ज्वाइन किया है। अरूज, प्रेडिक्शंस तो आपकी अच्छी जा रही हैं, बहुत ज़बरदस्त जा रही हैं, लेकिन ये बताएं कि 6 चेंजेस थे पेशावर ज़ल्मी के, फिर भी जिस तरह से वो जीते हैं, बड़ा उनको कॉन्फिडेंस मिला होगा गोइंग इनटू द प्लेऑफ्स।
देखिए, इसीलिए तो प्रेडिक्ट किया था। सिकंदर जो है काफ़ी टेंशन में थे जब मैंने ये प्रेडिक्शन की थी, बट आई थिंक इट वाज अ गेम दैट स्वंग लेफ्ट टू राइट, और आखिर में आई थिंक पेशावर को कॉन्फिडेंस ज़रूर मिला होगा। हालांकि उनके बैटर्स ने अभी भी ऊपर से उस तरह से रन्स नहीं किए हैं, तो प्रॉब्लम्स अभी भी हैं, बट आई थिंक अ गुड विन डिडंट मीन एनीथिंग इन द एंड, बट आई गॉट माय प्रेडिक्शन राइट।
जीते नहीं थे, ड्रॉ हुआ। वो पेनल्टी किक्स पे तो कुछ भी हो सकता।
पेशावर ज़ल्मी वन
by super over. Okay, boundaries. We got to go back and check out what Shaheen Shah Afridi pulled off in that last over. It's got to be the boundaries package.
24 to win आखिरी ओवर में, और शाहीन शाह अफरीदी पहला चौका हुआ मात बट जिसको वो रोक नहीं सके, फिर जो इन्होंने ये वन हैंडेड छक्का मारा, उसके बाद एक और चौका कीपर के ऊपर से, और आई थिंक ही वाज आल्सो हैविंग फन, बट जो ये आखिर में जो इन्होंने किया ना, ये कमाल कर दिया। क्योंकि मेरी इनसे बाद में बात भी हुई, एक्स्ट्रा कवर के ऊपर से इन्होंने बेहतरीन छक्का, आई थिंक अगेन प्लेंटी ऑफ गुड शॉट्स इन द एंटायर मैच, बट आखिर ओवर में जब 24 रन चाहिए हो और आप 23 कर दें उसमें से, और एक ऐसे प्लेयर से जिसकी रोज़ बैटिंग आती नहीं है, तो पोस्ट मैच के बाद मुलाकात हुई तो कहते मैंने सुसर से बैटिंग सीखी है, तो क्या खूब बैटिंग सीखी है,
क्या ही ज़बरदस्त। चले, सुसर से सीखी है तो डेफिनेटली इसी तरह की हिटिंग हमें देखने को मिलेगी। लेकिन क्राउड ने बहुत एंजॉय किया। हमेशा ये गद्दाफी स्टेडियम का जो क्राउड है वो बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त होता है, फुल हाउस होता है। थोड़ी देर के लिए बहुत एंजॉय किया, एंड में पेशावर ज़ल्मी ऑफ कोर्स जीत गया था। लेट्स हैव अ लुक एट द फैंस ऑफ द डे। यही बात है गद्दाफी स्टेडियम लाहौर की, जो बच्चे आते हैं मैचेस देखने, और जनरली जो हमें एटमॉस्फेयर अभी तक नज़र आया है, दोनों साइड्स का सपोर्ट था, बट ये जो भंगड़े डल रहे हैं और डांस हो रहा होता है और जो शोर होता है, यकीन माने यहाँ पे हमें आवाज़ नहीं आती। जिस किस्म की आज अभी तक हमने क्राउड्स देखे हैं और बच्चों को देखा है एंजॉय करते हुए, मज़ा ही आ गया।
चलिए भाई, एक ब्रेक लेंगे। ब्रेक के बाद जब वापस आएंगे तो कुछ फील्डिंग परफॉर्मेंसेस देखेंगे, कुछ ऊप्स मोमेंट भी हैं, वो भी शेयर करेंगे आपके साथ।
बैक एट द पिच साइड स्टूडियो, और सेलिब्रेट तो कर रहा होगा पेशावर ज़ल्मी, उनकी आज जिसे कहते हैं जीत भी हुई है। कुछ अच्छी फील्डिंग का भी जो है हमें देखने को मिली। फील्डिंग एफर्ट आज का देखते हैं। कामरान गुलाब ने एक कैच ड्रॉप किया था, लेकिन उसके बाद ये डायरेक्ट हिट थी वहाब रियाज की तरफ से, तो आए देखते हैं।
और तलत फौरन ही भाग पड़े थे, कोई चांस ही नहीं था, क्योंकि सीधा बॉल उनके पास किया, लेकिन थ्रो बिल्कुल स्टंप्स पे। एंगल भी उनको मिला क्योंकि लेफ्ट हैंडर है, तो एंगल उनके लिए अच्छा था, बट पहले जो उन्होंने फील्डिंग की, इसके लिए थोड़ी सी रिडेम्पशन कामरान गुलाम के लिए।
चलिए, जब आप अच्छा काम करते हैं कहीं ना कहीं गलतियां भी करते होंगे, ऊप्स मोमेंट में यही आपको देखेंगे। आइए चेकआउट करते हैं।
जज़ई की विकेट बाद में भी जाके ज़्यादा रन नहीं बना सके, मगर कामरान गुलाम ही गिल्टी पार्टी यहाँ पर। बॉल के नीचे आ जरूर गए थे, बट हार्ड हैंड। बात करते हैं कि अपनी आंखों के सामने कैच पकड़े, लाइट को भी आंख से दूर करे थे, बाकी प्लेयर्स को भी इशारा किया कि मैं ये कैच पकड़ लूंगा, मगर आखिर में हुआ नहीं ऐसा।
ये देख नहीं रहे थे जो आपने सिखाया इनको।
शायद देख रहे थे।
एंड में एक कैच ड्रॉप किया था। एग्जैक्टली, अरूज का खुद भी ड्रॉप हुआ था एंड में, लेकिन वही तो मजा आता है। देखिए, जितनी भी प्रैक्टिस कर लें अरूज, कैच ड्रॉप हो जाता है, लेकिन उसको कैसे प्रिवेंट करें,
उसके लिए वीडियो देख लें।
वीडियो देख लें,
जो मैंने वीडियो की है वो देख लें फिर।
या सॉरी बोल दे सीधा, और क्या। चलिए भाई, ब्रेक लेते हैं और जब वापस आएंगे तो हम देखेंगे खुशी किसकी, पेशावर ज़ल्मी की।
Huge congratulations to Peshawar Zalmi. उन्होंने all 7 times जो है playoffs they've made it, which is great news for them, and it also shows कि पीछे जो think tank है वो एक अच्छी think tank बैठी है कि 6 चेंजेस भी हुए उसके बावजूद बहुत उनकी उम्दा परफॉर्मेंस थी, जिसकी वजह से आज वो हमारी जीत की खुशी के पैकेज में फीचर करते हैं। आइए देखते हैं उनके सेलिब्रेटरी मोमेंट्स। जी हाँ, बड़ी ज़बरदस्त परफॉर्मेंस रही है आज पेशावर ज़ल्मी की। स्पेशली यू हैव टू से कि डेथ बॉलिंग जो आज हमें नज़र आई है वहाब रियाज की तरफ से, सुपर ओवर में जो उन्होंने जिस तरह की परफॉर्मेंस दी। मोहम्मद हारिस की परफॉर्मेंस आपने देखी है ओवरऑल, एंड मोहम्मद अकरम द मैन ऑन स्क्रीन। मेरा ख्याल है इनको उतना क्रेडिट नहीं जाता, लेकिन मिलना चाहिए बिकॉज अभी तक ज़बरदस्त उनकी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन रही है।
चलिए, 30 मैचेस हो गए, अब बात आ गई है प्लेऑफ्स की। क्वालिफायर खेला जाएगा और ये होगा डे आफ्टर टुमारो। एक दिन की छुट्टी है सबकी। मुल्तान सुल्तान आएंगे और मुकाबला करेंगे किसका? होम टीम का, लाहौर कलंदर्स का। याद रहे कि ये क्वालिफायर है, तो जो भी ये मैच हारेगा बाहर नहीं होगा, उसको एक सेकंड चांस जरूर मिलेगा एलिमिनेटर के विनर से खेलने का। बादल साहब, ये आप देख रहे हैं कि लाहौर और वो आगे क्या नाम है, मुल्तान। अब पुराने जो कुछ किया, 9 में से 10 जीते या 10 में से 9 जीते, कुछ नहीं। अब उस दिन जो होगा वो होगा। कैसा देख रहे हैं इस इनकाउंटर को? ब्रांड न्यू एक अप्रोच होनी चाहिए, जैसे चल रहा है वैसे ही जाए मुल्तान भी?
मुल्तान तो कोशिश करेगा कि जैसे चल रहा है। मेरा ख्याल कलंदर्स को नहीं रोक सकेंगे, अब वो नहीं रोकते। लाहौर में आपको पता ही कितना अच्छा खेलते हैं, और एक टीम किसने हराया है उनको, मुल्तान सुल्तान को इस टूर्नामेंट में?
कलंदर।
तो बस एक दूसरी तो फिर तो हरा लेंगे, टेंशन नहीं है।
अच्छा, कलंदर्स के पास भी अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ कोर्स है यहाँ पे। सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये है कि जो जीता है रोज वो सीधा फाइनल्स में जाता है, तो दैट शुड बी द बिगेस्ट इंसेंटिव फॉर बोथ द साइड्स।
बिल्कुल, देखें, क्योंकि कहते हैं T20 क्रिकेट में इट्स अबाउट पीकिंग एट द राइट टाइम, और दोनों टीमों ने पीक किया है। मुल्तान तो खैर जिस तरह बात कह रहे हैं चुके ही नहीं इस चीज़ से, बट अगला मैच एक चांस जरूर मिल जाता है। आई स्टिल फील मुल्तान सुल्तान विल बी द स्ट्रॉन्गर साइड।
थैंक यू रूज।
वैसे तो परसों भी छुट्टी डिक्लेयर कर देनी चाहिए, बाजिद ने कह दिया कि लाहौर जीत रहा है। लेकिन आप लोगों के साथ मुलाकात होगी शाम 6:30 बजे इसी स्टूडियो में। मैं और ज़ैनब आएंगे अपने गेस्ट के साथ। जब तक के लिए अपना ख्याल रखिए। प्लेऑफ से मिलते हैं। अल्लाह हाफिज।